Everybody, and welcome back to the Come Play podcast. This is episode 25. We are back. All of us are here. So what's up, everybody?
What is up, everybody?
And it's been a little bit of time, and you know what? We don't have excuses. Okay, I mean we do have an excuse.
Yeah, the hell we do.
A lot of school, but hey, guess what? We're all good now. We have a clear schedule.
Yeah, we're all in our young 20s. We're all broke as fuck, so we're on that grind.
Yeah, you got that right. And yeah, we're here, and it's gonna be. I have a good feeling about this summer and what we have. But let's get right into it. It's been a long time without this. Zach's thought of the week. We all missed it. Zach, what do you got for us this week?
This is an OG ass thought of the week. All right.
Finally.
You have to be half animal and half human. What animal do you choose? And which half?
Half animal, half human. Is that what it is? He said.
And you get to pick. You have to pick your legs and your upper body.
I believe that's called a halfling, like in fantasy terms.
So your top half is one animal, and your bottom half is the other animal. So one half has to be human, and the other half has to be animal, and you get to pick which half.
My bottom half would be a goat.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
You're not the goat, if that's what you're implying.
Dude, I'm straight up. I'm a giraffe top with human legs.
Bro, you don't. I don't think you understand. Like, you're gonna have like these two just massive legs. You're gonna be so unproportional. Like, holy shit, dude.
So Zach, if your top half is a giraffe, like, would you still be able to like speak English?
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for this.
or like if your top half was the animal, like, or would you only be able to, I don't know, speak animal?
I don't know. Maybe I can speak in giraffe.
You see him looking at his profile picture right now on Discord, which is a giraffe for those listening.
I'd be bilingual.
I think that I think I'd go with a horse as my bottom half, just so I have the most powerful back kick in the history of man. Like,
well, yeah, but you'd be shitting everywhere.
I will be shitting everywhere, but you know what? That's good because I can't get arrested because I'm a horse.
He does that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's true too. I've been sitting in the chair for a while.
I for some reason, my first thought was lion, like either lion top half or like, because lions are just like fierce, you know. But you know what else I was thinking?
Yeah, sure, bud.
Bottom half walrus. You want to know why?
What?
I'm pretty sure they have the biggest dicks of any animal in the world. That's not even a joke.
The elephant would like to speak with you.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like scientifically.
Can we get? I want to look. Okay, I don't even know what I have to Google search right now to find this, but I'm gonna do it.
Like,
walrus.
I'm opening up an incognito window for this search.
And I only
I'm gonna have it in my history. I want
to. Like,
I'm usually pretty good at this.
Literally, there was like 22 inches.
No, so if we're talking about mammals, are we talking about mammals?
Yeah.
The blue whale.
Oh yeah.
And it's 5 feet.
Oh wow.
The largest ever recorded was 8 feet.
Jesus.
Ever recorded.
According to Softpedia.
So someone had to measure it?
Of course.
I mean, you kind of have to, right? I mean, you're a scientist. That's kind of part of the gig, right? That's what I would think.
I would hate my job, dude.
I would hope that you'd be doing more than measuring penises, but that is part of the job. I don't think that's all of the job, but it's definitely part of the job.
I just measure animal peni.
It's about 8 feet of the job, but
imagine showing up to the zoo. It's like, what's up? I'm here for the penis measuring.
You know how like they have like you go to the zoo and they have like the little like plaque things that like tell you information. They should start adding penis sizes to those. And I really want to see a kid try and read that. Like, penis?
It's like
What,
preparing
mommy,
for,
what's that?
I'm here to do the penis measuring.
it's like preparing for the health inspector at work.
Picture like
Oh,
an
God,
African
he's here.
safari. An African safari, like the guy is just pointing out every animal he sees, like penis size. Like there's the African giraffe. They have a 4-foot dick.
So Tyler, would you have a lion head or lion legs?
That's what I'm trying to figure out because like lions have like they're, you know.
You'd have to get a new headset.
I'm trying to imagine Tyler like waist up as lion and then waist down as human. He would look like the worst medical experiment to ever happen. Like, Jesus Christ!
But you know, like lions have like just like tree trunks for legs. Like I feel like that would be.
Maybe you'd actually make a save with your pads.
I'm imagining a giraffe that still has 4 legs, but each leg is like a human leg.
That's so weird.
Oh my god! I
don't like that image.
I'm glad I'm not good at Photoshop. I really don't ever want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
Jesus.
So...
Actually, you know what? Google's got to hold on. Google's got to have something. Give me a minute here. Hold on.
So,
Google's got to have something.
I mean, like I said, lion was the first thing that came to me, but that is, I don't know. Like what are the like? I feel like what's better overall, like to have a upper half or a bottom half of an animal? Like I'm not sure.
Well, here's the thing. Like we have opposable thumbs.
Well,
we have thumbs, so most of the time you want the top half to be human. The bottom half is where we could use some work because our legs are not really that strong, like compared to a lion or cheetah or zebra. Or
so like if you get cheetah legs, does that automatically make you fast?
It's got it, right? I mean, because it's all muscle. I mean, part of why they run so fast is because of them being on all fours. But so maybe you want like an ostrich or something. You know, those things are fast as hell, and they're on 2 legs. So maybe you want like twigs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm surprised that this image doesn't exist. I'm really surprised this image doesn't exist.
Yeah,
who would make that, dude?
Somebody who has a lot of time on their hands.
You know how the internet works?
Yeah. No.
Rule 34 exists, which I don't even want to look up either.
I googled. Oh wait, someone made a drawing.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it has like it's wearing fishnets and heels, but it's.
Wow.
That's Tyler's type right there.
Okay. Where did that come from?
My heels? Last time I checked, you were straight.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can do this. See if I can post it in the.
Just put the link in.
This picture definitely needs to go on Twitter.
I'll put it if it's decent enough. I'll put it on the edit. Put it in the recording notes chat because I definitely do want to see this.
Why is it literally every time we've had Zach's thought of the week, it always goes off the rails?
That's the point. That's the point. Oh my god.
What
the? Damn. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
You know what's weird about this picture?
That's kind of what I was picturing.
They put so much detail in the bottom half, and just like the top half of the giraffe looks like it's just like.
Yeah, no, that was true. That was drawn by a 3rd grade art class.
You know what? I got not the heels. You nuts,
dude. The heels got some definition on.
Look at that. You got some shading and everything.
Yeah,
and everything. Look at that. They shine like a diamond, man. I think you know what this might be. You ever see those subreddits or those Twitters that are like I forget what they're called. It's like color sabotage or something like that, where they take like children's coloring books and draw like the biggest dick on them. I wonder if this is that.
Here we go.
So
this
somebody
is the real deal right here.
Tell me you did not just do that in Paint.
No. How would I have done it that quick?
That's why I'm asking. But I had to ask.
If he did it, that'd be incredible. Anyway.
Okay.
That is Zach's thought of the week, as usual. It's weird and
fucking retarded,
and we always end up talking about dicks. So I'll take the L for that one because I brought it up. But anyway, all right. Let's start off with our quick picks, and this one is a personal achievement for your boys. We have said a lot of times. This, by the way, this just makes us sound like losers. It's fine.
We worked for this, goddammit.
We have been playing NHL, the NHL series. Well, really for the past 2 years because like that's when we really all 4 of us came together and became friends. And we've been playing this since last year and probably have recorded about 600 to 700 game. Somewhere I would say probably somewhere in the 600 game range of games.
That's like a game a day.
Yeah, over the two years, NHL 18 and 19, and we were looking for that elusive Division 1 title. And finally, on May 21st, 2019, the boys came together against the New Jersey Lemons. And the boys, with a game to play and needing, I think we needed 1 point, so we could have got an overtime loss, but we came out there and we said we wanted the win. We come out there. The Cats Clan defeated the New Jersey Lemons.
The Cats Clan.
The Cats Clan defeated the New Jersey Lemons 3-1 to capture their first EASHL Division 1 title. And what a feeling, right?
What a
absolutely.
Feeling, man.
I mean, the Sharks had just lost that night out of the playoffs, and I couldn't have felt better after.
Well, you got to talk about like how the goals happened. Like
yeah.
So we start off right, and we're looking to get on the board early. I get the puck up the right wing, and I put the afterburners on. And as I explained, and I didn't get the puck in deep on this one. I took it myself, and as I described,
after a date,
as I described in the chat, let me pull it up. Of course, I can't find it now because everybody and their goddamn mother post on this. Jesus Christ!
Isn't this a gaming talk?
Yeah, I thought it was in the gaming talk.
Yeah,
but,
it is. It's definitely here.
All right, you read it. What did I say? I forget what I said.
Hold on.
Okay, this was.
Yeah, no, wait, hold on. There it is. Hold on. Yeah, so Tyler goes, peep my early goal where I put the afterburners on and put the back clappy upstairs where Grandma hides the cookies.
Yeah. So started off the game. I think that was about 3 or 4 minutes into the game, and
quick one. We got started early.
Then we started to get the pucks in deep and really got our cycle game going. And
our cycle game is definitely our strongest asset. By the way,
yeah, for sure.
We have
Let's
that.
talk about our boy
pressure.
Stonewall Butterstick. In that
Who
plays center?
Hold on, I'll get to you in a second. Calm down. I honestly forget all the goals. I know there was a deflection goal by Brendy in there.
I
don't know if that was
sexy.
the second or the third. I can't remember.
It was the second because I remember it was reviewed.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was reviewed for a high stick, no goal, and then
which definitely should have been a high stick, by the way.
I want to say Bobby got the third, but I can't remember how he scored though. But I can't really remember.
So it was a slap shot from the point.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
He just hit a laser in the corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that gave us and they scored somewhere in there, but you know what? It wasn't enough. And I will say, and I think we all agree, the MVP of the game was literally there was no question it was Zach. Zach Butterstick, as we refer to him in NHL. He played an unbelievable defensive game. A lot of great, just clogging
and
up the middle.
assisted on every goal.
Yeah, I think I had 3 assists that game and 3 hits.
Yeah, and so he had the points and played defensively very well. So it was nice, and finally got that title. We have the stats here for the.
Wait, did you talk about Brendy's goal?
Why
But we got to talk about how it went to review, how it almost didn't count. Come on now.
I did. I mentioned it went to review, and I thought because me and Brendy had played I think it was a day or two earlier, and there was a high stick call that they said it was no goal, and that stick looked higher than it was, but to the other goal, so no way, this is counting.
Yep.
And they counted it.
We didn't bring this up, by the way, but we do have the recording of this game. I did record it, so.
Yeah.
This might be something we release. We'll talk later.
You gotta release the full game.
Yeah, of course. I had the full game.
Dude,
so we have stats for this is NHL 19 only stats.
Wait, no. Wait. Before we go into the stats, you're missing something.
Oh, the post game interview.
Yeah, you do.
I forgot about that.
BPN was lucky to be in the locker room after the game, and we just so happened to be able to grab the captain, Mr. Brendon Dodson, for a exclusive post-game interview. Apologize for the audio quality. There was a lot of commotion, so it's not the best in the world. However, it is a very good interview, and I would like everybody to hear it. It's about 2.5 minutes long. It's about 2.5 minutes long, so I hope everybody enjoys. Oh, I'm cutting out. Why am I cutting out?
Yeah, I can barely hear it.
Yep, hold on. I'll fix that in a second. Keep talking. I will fix that. I know what happened.
Well, let me get into the stats, and then you can go to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah, like I said, this is just NHL 19 stats. You're looking at what I forget it already. 335 games played over the club.
Yeah, 335.
37 or 38 seasons.
Yeah, it was 37 or 38 seasons. We were in division. We kept it. We would be in Division 1, but could never get the title. We'd bounce back to 2, go back to 1. Like we never really got sent back to 2.
We even went as far back as 3 at one point. Like I remember that. I was like, damn, we're not winning the title this game.
Yeah. But over that time, now these stats also count playoffs too, so that's why that gameplay is weird. But Brendy led us with 348 games played. Congratulations, you were the biggest loser out of all of us.
Playing in every game.
I follow with 297, Zach with 148, Bobby with 142. Leading goal scorer was myself with 335 goals, Brendy with 319. Zach with 80 and Bobby with 73. And assist, I led in that as well with 327. Brendy with 275, Bobby with 182, and Zach with 111. And points, I had 662 and 297 games. Brendy had 594 and 348 games. Bobby had 255 and 142, and Zach had 191 and 148.
I just want to point this out really quick before you continue. Like in NHL 20, I have a feeling like me and you are probably going to have very similar amount of games played because I remember when NHL 19 first came out, me and Zach just played by ourselves for a little bit, not much, 40 or 50 games.
Yeah.
So in NHL 20, there might be a different story.
Yeah, which I mean, I obviously don't care, but yeah, I mean, I would have liked to, because I will say a lot of that came from threes games where you do get more points, but I'm at a 2.5 point per game, which is pretty nice. So, but then I do want to mention plus minus, and I hate to do this to you, Zach, I really do, but. Zach was retired probably 7 or 8 times. He was up in the rafters for a while. He came out of retirement, threatened to uninstall the game probably 150 to 170 times over a month's time span. The plus minus was affected. I will say he was playing frustrated, maybe not playing his best hockey. Brendy, why the fuck are you typing right into the buffoon?
We can hear every stroke, bud.
So plus minus, me and Bobby tied for the best at -1. So not even one player on this team was a plus player, but it's fine. Brendy -25, and our good old pal Zick Butterstick -51 with the 9% DNF rating. But yeah, overall, it's just as for all the terrible moments that we have, just the frustration, because look, the game fucking sucks. I'm not mechanics
it's a god-awful game. It is nowhere near even realistic at all.
I just enjoy playing it. When we're all when we're all genuinely having fun, it's actually just a really good time. So us winning it was
nice.
It's
bad, but it's fun with your friends.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't really play by myself ever.
I only play Be a Pro by myself. I think that's fun, but otherwise, no, I'm not playing any of this stuff by myself.
But yeah, if Bobby, do you have the audio?
I think I fixed it. So this is if this doesn't work, then I'm just gonna end up putting it in the video that we'll release on the Complay channel as a separate video. But here is the post game interview because that's like 2.5 minutes long. So buckle in, but it's a good time.
And following
all right, that's better.
Finally, the league won. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Can't talk. So excited! Division 1 title. We throw it down to Robert Morison with an interview with Brendon Dodson.
Thanks, Tom. It's really hard to hear you in the commotion here today. The champagne has already gone off. The camera is soaked. But I do have Brendon Dodson, the captain, led the Cats Clan finally after 50 years to the D1 title.
Robert, words cannot describe how I'm feeling right now. I just want to thank my team. I'm just so fucking proud of you guys.
All right,
You
boys,
guys
here we go.
you got a lot of clutch players today. Who do you think stood out to you tonight?
Oh, it was definitely the play of our boys like Butterstick, our assistant captain. You know, he was coming out, making some clutch plays, getting the pucks in deep. That man has had his jersey raised to the rafters 7 times in the past 3 months. I'm glad that he's come back to win the title with us.
So what happens from here? What is in store for the Cats Clan next season?
Well, we'll have to move on to the next chapter. We got our boy. I fucking forgot your name.
Wow, good hookers in the off season.
Pucks in deep.
Oh yeah, we got our boy Pucks in Deep trying out to be a goaltender, and hopefully we can win another title like that.
Do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to?
No, I'm good.
Seems to be having a stroke.
Oh no, that's unfortunate, Robert.
You guys have been upgrading arenas at an alarming rate, and the fans have been filling up every game. What do you have to say to them?
Oh,
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, fans. Appreciate it.
Yep, thanks. Brendon, Captain Dodson.
All right,
Thank you
here
very
we
much
go,
for your time.
boys. In the Cup of Winners.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Talk to you in the studio.
We are
That is
such a
lit.
dysfunctional group. You know that? God damn.
When you hear me
Shout
say,
out to
all
my
right, here we go,
ending-
boys, I'm literally chugging beer.
Yeah, he literally sent us a Snapchat of him chugging
By the way,
beer,
shout out
which
to my
is great.
ending for back to Tyler in the studio. I was hoping that Tyler would pick it up in the podcast right away.
That was good, actually. I didn't, I'll.
Yeah, of course, you didn't think about that. You're
I'll
not
give it
crazy.
to you there. But I just the best part of that interview easily was.
Nope, I'm good.
I'm good. Anyway,
So in the interview, I cut this out, but there was a minute-long laughing fit after he said that line.
yeah.
I was trying to get the next question out about the arena and the crowd. Zach was just basically not letting me have it at all. He was in tears. I couldn't help but laugh at his laugh, so we just ended up having this full-blown laughing fit right after he said the line. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was good though.
It sounded like someone brought in a
What a
recorder.
win.
I want to say too, that is like we do that all the time just to be kind of funny in the group. It wasn't like we were doing this for the podcast, so it's just that's just what we do. We're just so fucking weird, man.
We
And,
started that a while ago, and it's
just
where the
Tyler.
"yup, thanks" joke came from.
Yep.
It just
That's also where my name came from. Pucks
on
and
the
Deep.
NHL. Yeah. So we basically do that every once in a while. We're like, I'll just be like, Ty, send me. And then all of a sudden, Brendy's in this interview or Zach's in this interview, and someone's roasting somebody. It's always
Or Tyler sends it down to you, and then all of a sudden he's in the interview.
yeah.
What we do is 8-0, and Tyler's straight up not having a good time.
I love that. He got me yesterday. Tyler was like, wait, how am I in the studio now?
Tyler has the headset All right, down to you.
Sprints down. He puts it down, just sprints down the stairs. Oh, I can teleport.
Yeah, like I said, it was just like I said, the game is not fun, but when we're all together, it is fun. So that is that Division 1 title.
We will probably not do it again.
Yeah, well, I mean, NHL 20, boys, you know.
The grind starts.
The grind starts. Zach, prepare yourself for just absolutely being
he's gonna cringe. So I want to be on Discord with you as you're buying or pre-ordering NHL. I want to hear the $60 come out of your fucking throat.
And the other day too.
On Xbox, you gotta wait 10 days. So.
Yeah.
The other day too, like we're on Xbox and he's just like, I don't even know what we were doing, and all of a sudden I guess he was just on the store. He's like, "Hey, NHL has a 1.5 star rating," and I'm just like, "You're doing research now." Like this is how much you hate this game.
Research. Yep.
All right, let's move on to some serious, some serious stuff. That was a good time though. We start off in ice hockey, but not men's, women's hockey. There has been a big I will say problem with women's hockey players and compensation and just problems with the leagues. So the top women's players form a union. About 200 players have formed the union of the Professional Women's the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association. To basically give them little. I will say that. Sorry, I'm trying to form how to say this because
it's basically they're doing it to push for a stable league.
Right.
Well, they're not happy with the NWHL being only a 5-team league. I think they're boycotting that start of that season, and the Canadian Women's Hockey League shut down in March. So This is their attempt to push for a stable league, fair compensation, health benefits, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I was trying to word it because I mean the first thing that came to mind, which was like not a professional way to say it, but I mean they're essentially being fucked for a lot of things. Like their compensation wise, I think they were not like I don't think any of them were getting paid 6 digits at all, like or even close to it. I believe at least.
I think there's a number in one of these articles. I'm looking for it. I think it's in the AP News. Let me find it real quick because there one of them talks about how the NWHL is saying like, oh yeah, one of them's not. Yeah. So this is coming from the AP News about this story, and so they get some quotes from some of the women players. We're dedicated, we're excited, and then it goes on to say the NWHL, I can't talk, stresses that not everyone is boycotting the lone remaining women's professional league. So that's what's left, and there's a lot of players, that 200 players, boycotting that league. The league announced a couple of player deals, notably one featuring Madison Packer. Packer, who is tied for most goals in NWHL history, signed for $12,000 to play the upcoming season with the Metropolitan Riveters.
Yeah, I mean that's
ridiculous.
I will be honest. I did not know it was that low because that is.
I understand the NHL takes in a lot more revenue, which is why the men get paid more. But they should just take some of that money and just fund it into the women's organization.
Well, they went on to say that they announced players will receive a 50% cut of revenue and 15% apparel sales with their names this upcoming season. I don't have numbers as to what those are projected to be, but I can't imagine they're good.
I mean,
I can't imagine they're good.
No, it's not. It wouldn't be anything like the NHL, obviously.
And Packer went on to say that she's coming back for 5th season because she just really just wants to play. So she sees she's going to advance the game by playing.
It's unfortunate too because it really gets showcased like in the Olympics, most notably. The women's game, and to be honest, like sometimes it's better than the men's. Like
the U.S. game last year when they won the gold, that was amazing game.
Like I mean, the U.S. and Canada women's game is always going to be good, and I know that's like the big game, but there was also other things, and there was also great moments too, like in the Olympic. I know this is like a little bit different, but the Olympics had the North Korea and South Korea coming together, and they formed a women's hockey team. And you know, obviously they didn't fare so well, but it was just something that was very special, and that came from the women's game. And you know, like I said, the hockey is very good, and you know, like I said, the U.S. and Canadian rivalry is honestly maybe like I feel like it might be more violent in the women. I don't want to say maybe violence not the right word because obviously like the rules are different, but it's feisty. I think it's feistier than the men's sometimes.
Well, because
it's really good hockey.
They can't. Can they check? Like I thought there was you couldn't check for a while.
Yeah, you like you can't. That's why I'm saying like it's not violent really, but it's feisty. Like you'll see. I mean, you'll see checks that don't get called like when it gets feisty. Like unless it's like really bad, they'll call it. But like you'll see some bumping and there won't be any calls.
Yeah,
I remember. Aren't they allowed to check?
I'm not sure. Like I really don't know. I don't know.
Physically apt as men are, like you know, because they're playing in a league of women. I understand that men and women have physical differences, but
I will say that was for the
they're all equal.
That was for the Olympics. I don't know if it's the same, to be honest, in their league. I don't know, but that was for the Olympics. So, so yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of really good players. So. Like I said, I was not expecting the number to be that low. That is insulting.
And if anybody needs like a reminder as to these players are good. Kennecoin Schofield was at the All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game. Dude, she can skate. We were raving about her before.
You know, it's like, and she's like, I want to say she's like 5'4" or something. Like, imagine she was like, you know, like as tall as like the NHL players there, and they're able to like take those big strides. Like she would probably be faster than McDavid, honestly.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. But yeah, it's unfortunate with what's happened. Like I said, I mean they're just getting the short end of the stick from their leagues, and they finally are trying to do something about it. I know they were trying to come together with the NHLPA a while ago, and that, from my understanding, didn't go as planned.
I think it still exists in a way.
I think it does, but I don't think it was like I think they were expecting it to be very smooth, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like it's there because it's supposed to be there, but it doesn't really do anything. Like it doesn't advocate for the things that it's supposed to be advocating for. That's my understanding of it, but I didn't do all the research for that.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming it's for.
So yeah, like I said, it's a step in the right direction. But I don't know. I just still feel like there's going to be pushback from the league, and it's going to be a tough task because, like I said, they've been up against it for a while here, and I don't know if that's going to change just because of how it's been in the past. But you know,
they have a very steep hill. They're going to have to show that people are interested in watching. I mean, it's the same thing we've talked about before with the WNBA and stuff like that. It's always a tough get. I definitely, I don't want to say it's had more success, but women's hockey definitely has eyes on it in the Olympics. Like it really does. The WNBA has struggled with similar things. So this union now has to prove that, you know, people are interested in watching, so TV deals can happen and everything else, and that league can be sustainable, because the Canadian league was a big deal. I mean, that ruined a lot of people. So they have a really, really steep hill to climb here, but I am hopeful that they'll get there because there are a lot of talented women playing ice hockey these days. Like I said, I really like Kennecoin Schofield. She's fantastic. She's really fast. She's really fun to watch. I watched her in the Olympics. It was awesome. So I'm hoping that they end up getting what they're looking for. They're getting a stable league and they'll have somewhere to play, and hopefully I'll be able to watch because I'll definitely tune in.
That's the other part about it is, and I'm sure maybe this is something they're pushing for, but as far as I know, there's no, I'm maybe you can get it online. I don't know, but there's no way for you to watch the games. As like I said, as far as I know, like it's not going to be on TV or anything. Maybe there's a stream online or something, or like that. That's something I would want to kind of look into. But yeah, I mean,
I don't see it either.
it's really good hockey, and it's something that you want to continue. Plus, I mean, look, it helps to grow the game. And for like the NHL standpoint, like honestly, like if I was them, I would want to definitely invest in that because
it's on YouTube actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
they have an official channel full of archived games like as recent as 3 months ago.
Okay.
So they're here. I didn't know. I had no idea.
I wonder if they live stream it.
It looks like they do. I'm assuming they do.
Okay.
But I would have to really look. I might have to go watch some of these games.
I mean, even in that case, though, like I feel like it's got to be bigger than just putting it on YouTube. You know, like this is a professional league.
But I'm also like assuming that this is their baby steps to see what kind of viewer count they get out of this, and looking at like the full games get about 1,000 to 2,000 views each game. And the clips and the highlights seem to get a little less than that, like in the hundreds. Right. The full games get a couple thousand views, which maybe that's not enough. Maybe that is. I don't know. I don't know what the business is. But I mean, there's definitely people interested. I'm sure there's a lot of people in our position where we didn't even know this was happening on YouTube. I had no idea. So I'm gonna have to go and watch some of these games now. I'm gonna have to go take a look and see what I'm missing, because I definitely would love to see more women's hockey, especially after these past Olympics. I had a lot of fun watching that game. Yeah. I woke up my roommate screaming.
Yeah, no, like I said, it was really good. But no, I mean, just to kind of finish our thought, like, because I said, I think it was something I would do for the NHL, because, I'm not talking about like a direct correlation where like women are playing in the NHL. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But what I am saying is, you grow the fan base for ice hockey, and if you put in a little bit of investment in it, and it's gonna, obviously the NHL is the biggest league in the world. Like, people are gonna watch it if they get invested in to hockey. You invest a little bit in the women's side of the game. I think it grows it for you. I really hope this works out. I really do. It's like I said, it's terrible what they're making and stuff like right now. And like I said, I hope it fixes itself. But we will have to see. Hopefully we get something good out of this, because they've just been done so wrong for so long. So we will end that part there and move on to some FIFA news. Disappointing, for sure for me. FIFA is scrapping its plans for a 48 team World Cup in 2022. Currently it's been 32 for a long time. They were looking to expand to a 48, which obviously, as a fan of the sport, would love to see. More soccer being played, more talent to watch, and people, players to discover. But that is not the case, as it was announced that will not be happening, which is just a small portion of a huge problem that has gone on for the World Cup of 2022. It is very. I mean, I was gonna say sketchy, but like I feel like that's not the right word. Like, it's literally proven that this is like
it's been bribed.
It's been bribed. It's like just not a good spot for FIFA. I was really hoping that they would take it out of Qatar, but that's not the case. But yeah, basically, Qatar bribed FIFA to get the World Cup, and there's been a lot of problems with the stadiums being built and getting funding for this, and the other problem. I don't know problem, but the other interesting part of this too is that the World Cup is going to be in the winter, which is going to go right over all the European League seasons for club soccer. So you're going to have guys, instead of at the end of their seasons going to play in the World Cup, you're going to have it at the mid-season, and that's going to create. It's going to be interesting because we haven't seen something like that before. Are players going to be better because they're still fresh and haven't gone through the whole season of the grind, or you obviously have the injury concerns. You don't want your player getting injured while you're halfway through a season. It's just all very. It's not a good situation. It's not a good look, I want to say, for FIFA. The World Cup is something that I think everybody, like even casual fans, will watch because it's just really, it's just fun to watch. So like I said, it's really unfortunate that this is happening, but yeah, like I said,
So I'm going to jump in quickly.
Yeah.
So you said you were really disappointed that it's not going to be a 48 team 48 team tournament.
Yeah.
So honestly, if it was going to be 48 teams at least this year, I would have been incredibly surprised because first of all, look at Qatar; it's a small ass country.
Yeah.
They currently have. I'm looking at all their stadiums right now, and it looks like they actually only have 2 stadiums that are like ready to go, and like one and 2 of them haven't even started being built yet. So I think FIFA is kind of seeing this and like, okay, they're probably not going to be like fully ready until December or November of 2022. They're building 4 stadiums in one city, which is their capital city, so like maybe they could do it, but it's a population of less than 2 million, and the city itself, like it's not very big and may not be able to accommodate for all of that. So and with everything they've got planned on going right now, I would be very surprised if they were going to 48 teams specifically for scheduling reasons, because and think about all the people that are going to come visit this small Middle Eastern country right outside of Saudi Arabia, for 2 weeks. Like, it's going to be hundreds of thousands, not millions of people that are coming in just to watch soccer for 2 weeks. And I'm not entirely sure if Qatar is going to have the proper resources. Now, obviously, like you said earlier, my preference would be if they moved it to a different country. But that's probably not going to happen at this point. If you had asked me like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said, it may have been likely.
Yeah. It's almost like too late now.
Yeah, and they even had some sort of controversy with the Russia World Cup, also with bribery. Now it's not too much of a problem anymore because FIFA is under new leadership, and they basically everyone that was part of that corrupt regime has basically been arrested.
Yeah.
So hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. I really like what the FIFA president has been doing so far. So the 2026 World Cup, which is going to be held in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, will be the first confirmed tournament to have the 48 teams, which I'm really looking forward to. Maybe I'll try to go see a game if I have money.
Yeah, that's going to be a good. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like at this point, like, as bad as it's been, you would think they would have pulled it by now. But yeah, like, I know it's 3 years away, but it's almost too late now because there's a lot of preparation for it. Obviously, they're building stadiums, which some countries have to do. Like Brazil did it for the World Cup, and that caused a lot of problems there. Now, I think the other thing with this is they were looking at getting another country to do this, to expand to 48 teams in that region. They were looking at the problem. It looks like to me, with what I was reading, the problem is that there's just a lot of political problems in that region. So like they were looking at the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, but there's just economic and travel ties there that were kind of being a problem. So I think they're looking to expand to another country, but it just didn't work, and that's why they're only doing 32. But yeah, that's gonna. I just have a really, really bad feeling that this is gonna be a goddamn mess. And
Probably.
And having
We're gonna need water breaks in December.
If I mean 4 stadiums in one city for a World Cup is absolutely absurd. Like I
don't know how big the city is in terms of square miles, but like the population is less than 2 million.
It better be like a fucking.
Okay, it's 47,000 square miles, which is not very big.
Jesus Christ, man! Yeah, it's gonna be a goddamn mess. Like, are they expecting like nobody from other countries to come to the World Cup or something? Like, I don't understand.
It really seems like it. Like, so I know Qatar is like one of the only reason that Qatar even has the World Cup right now is because it has one of the highest GDPs in the world, and you know it's basically been confirmed to be a bribe. So I mean, good for them, I guess, but it really should not be happening.
Yeah, it's not a good look. You know, I don't know. It's hard to really say anything besides that I'm just really disappointed with how this has been handled and how it's gone. Like I said, I wanted it to be moved, but I mean, look, I would love for it to be a great host because, like I said, the World Cup is it's probably the greatest sporting event like in the world. I don't really know if that's debatable. Like every country is just so involved and it's just great to watch. You don't want to ruin that, and you know, with it being
I just want to say this real quick. I'm not against the World Cup being held in a Middle Eastern country.
No.
The problem I have is how Qatar got their bid.
Yeah, they fucking bribed him, bro. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's more of
not having a good time.
Like I will say, like Qatar actually seems like a very beautiful country, and I'd like to visit it one day. So,
like I said, I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with how they got it, and I also just have a problem with how it's being handled. Because it just looks like it's going to be a negative. It looks like it's going to be a tough spot. But you know, obviously we're just gonna have to wait and see, and I'm not gonna make any predictions. Be like, hey, yeah, this is gonna be an absolute joke. Because it could turn out really well, and like I said, I hope it does. But yeah, as you mentioned before, that whole committee of the corrupt FIFA officials has basically been arrested, so that was good to see.
Also, correction: the area is only 51 square miles. I was thinking of the population I was thinking of the population density.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so 51 square miles is the size of Doha, the capital of Qatar.
Okay.
And there's four stadiums in that area.
That's insane. That is insane. Okay. Yeah, like I said, that is something that we're gonna have to watch out for, and like I said, I really, really, really hope it works out. But we are gonna move on to some gaming news from now, as we have a lot of that this week. We start off with Activision takes over Call of Duty 2020.
Yes.
As the plan it plans for Black Ops 5, which is going to be or I'm sorry, wait a second. Did I read that wrong? Now I'm all messed up.
Wait, what are you trying to find?
Because now I'm looking at the article and it's like saying about Treyarch and you put about Activision. Now I'm all confused.
Oh, sorry. No, it's my fault. Yeah, Treyarch's taking over. That's my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait a second. Yeah, Treyarch is taking over, not Activision. So
yeah,
start again. Fuck yes.
Because then I was like, wait, Black Ops 5? What the fuck? That's so yeah. Treyarch plans to make Black Ops 5 for 2020, which is going to be awesome. Love the Black Ops series. And Activision is not is not taking over.
Technically they are, but it's Treyarch.
Yeah. So, how are we feeling about this? Because, like I said, I mean, I was always a fan of.
I mean,
Black
I haven't
Ops,
played a
but-
single minute of Call of Duty since World War II, so
I love how this happened. If you read the article on Kotaku, the article on Kotaku is like, so it was supposed to be not Infinity Ward, I'm sorry. Sledgehammer taking it for 2020. And they're supported by Raven, which that's nothing new. That partnership's been around for a while now. Apparently, what was supposed to happen was they were supposed to work together on the game and then release it, obviously. But apparently, they were fighting a lot during World War II, I'm guessing. The two studios, and basically what it looks like is Activision's like, okay, fuck you then. We'll give it to Treyarch. There was apparently a lot of fighting, and then apparently everything up to this point is a mess. Like, they're not going to be ready. They might need to be rushing things, etc., etc. So apparently Sledgehammer is kind of falling apart.
Just remaster Black Ops 1. That's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, so it looks like Sledgehammer is falling apart. In February 2018, the co-founders left and started another one of them left to start a company and actually hired staff from Sledgehammer. So studio's been losing a lot of employees. So a lot of tension between Sledgehammer and Raven, whose staff said they've argued frequently during the past year of development. It's two people described it as a complete mess. Now both studios will serve as support, so they're still going to be a part of the game, but Treyarch is now taking lead developer role in the game for what seems to be all but confirmed. I'm sorry. It said it weird, but Treyarch's supposedly preparing a Black Ops 5.
That would be lit.
Or Black Ops, so that would probably be what that's going to be for 2020. Yeah. So Black Ops 4 came out, and
which I still haven't played a single second of.
It's okay. And Black Ops 5 is supposedly what's going to happen in 2020 now. So, yep, it's a mess apparently.
I mean, Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 were all so good. I'm like, nah, they can't do this a fourth time. No way.
Well,
they're doing it with Modern Warfare apparently.
I mean, I know we keep coming back. Like, I know this is so over talked about, but I can't get over it really. Like, as we're saying here, like Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 were so good, yet and they introduced Blackout, and it was Black Ops 4. It was this big thing, and I have not heard about it since it released. Like, nothing.
Yeah, when it first came out, like a bunch of the big streamers, like including Ninja, were playing Blackout and were really enjoying it.
Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, all the big guys.
Like, and I haven't heard a thing since, and I didn't buy it, and it's just it's just something that's so overheard. But like,
I played a few games with Brendy, and it was fine. I have it on PC, which I haven't had a COD for, and it was okay. I mean, playing Battle Royale again, I've talked about my criticisms of Battle Royale, or how I just don't really like those modes. It was okay. I mean, I didn't have huge problems with it. Just it's not a game that I find myself repeatedly going back to.
So I've got to ask real quick, guys, because I feel like we may have made a mistake with this last year, with Black Ops 4. Are we gonna get on PC or console?
Well, we gotta start paying attention. So the new game, Infinity Ward has their game coming out this year, which apparently what they call an open secret that's going to be a new Modern Warfare.
Right. It's actually very weird for Infinity Ward, because like they'll announce like their next Call of Duty is like 2 months after the another one gets released. So like they usually do it in like December or January. So this is very weird for them. So this makes me think something big's gonna happen.
So there's talk of Modern Warfare 2 remaster possibly being part of
campaign only.
And it's apparently like it might be a pre-order exclusive. There's a lot of talk. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't think they're gonna do this right. I have no faith.
Probably not.
No, but here's the idea for 2020. 2020 is fall of 2020 is supposed to be when Xbox and PlayStation are expected to release their newest consoles. So this next Call of Duty might be the last one that is, mainly on Xbox and PlayStation 4. I'm sure the one in 2020 will be. But I think they're also going to kind of do what Ghost was doing, because Ghost came out right as the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 came out, where they're going to have the newest console versions as well. So I think we all need to sit down and make a decision on that one around that time. I might go back to getting Call of Duty on console again. Like, that's a console game. I mean, I really didn't have a problem having it on PC. I just definitely think it's a lot more fun to play on console, personally. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it.
I mean, we talked about this yesterday.
Every time Call of Duty remasters a game, they're like, excuse me, Jesus Christ.
We suck today, man. We're all off our
game.
game.
Do it. Like, please just change the graphics and nothing else. They're like, oh, completely change the gameplay. You got it.
I don't know.
You guys didn't want exosuits?
Fix some of the old bugs. And they're like, oh, completely fucking change everything about the game and it's not the same game anymore.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm going to make a freaking montage with the next Call of Duty.
We still have Trifecta sitting in the back burner.
Yeah, we're apparently it's been scrapped by Boobert.
I never said I scrapped it. I said it was on hold because there are a ton of issues with the cinematics that I can't figure out.
You told me it was scrapped.
That I never said those words to you.
Anyway,
I'm gonna have to do some digging.
Anyway, so yeah,
if I did say that, I was completely wrong to say so.
We were talking about this yesterday between us. That like, it's hard for me as a console gamer to just be like, I definitely want this on PC, because I just like the transition just so weird. But
been initiated to the master race.
But as a whole, I just feel like, again, we talk about it so much, but I just feel like Call of Duty is just dying, which is a shame, because it was definitely the most popular game for so long, and now it's like dying and like nobody cares. I feel like it's just it's whatever.
I wouldn't say it's dying. I mean, it's still a very prominent franchise.
Yeah, I would disagree with you on that, Ty.
The COD World League is still doing pretty well for itself. It's actually still expanding, and it's good to see. I just don't think there's a lot of faith in each of these games anymore. Like, there was stark differences between like Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2. And then I feel like once Advanced Warfare kind of happened, and then, I mean, I know you guys enjoyed Black Ops 3. I never played it. But I would say that the trio of Advanced Warfare, arguably Ghost as well, but Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare, you started to see a decline, just because it felt like a recycled piece of crap each of those 3 years. World War II, a lot of people have problems with as well. I enjoyed that one, even though I didn't get to play it as much. Thank you to my school for blocking the ports to play online.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why your school? Is there a reason why your school did that?
So could
you find a reason?
Well, the answer I got from the IT department was that the school has to have a pretty secure connection for obvious reasons. They have a lot of students to basically protect, and then anything can really happen, right? So apparently what they do is they block certain internet ports so that it makes it a little bit harder for hackers to access things or something like that. Like, it's a protection measure is basically what I'm saying. I don't know the details as to why it is. So they have to block certain ports, and if developers use those same ports to run their online service, I will not be able to access them.
Just seems weird to me that a small D3 college would have that concern.
Everybody's having that concern now. I don't think that's a small D3 college thing anymore. I mean,
I could play World War II just fine with everyone.
Right. You're probably, I mean, I don't think were you in college during that game? Can't remember.
I was.
I mean, it depends on the college. I mean, not every college is blocking the same ports. Your college may have blocked other ports for different reasons. My college decided those are the ports to block. So I don't really know why they made the decision, but the answer I got was, yeah, we blocked these ports. They use those ports. Fuck you, you can't use them, was the answer I got. So whatever. I could have probably figured out how to use like a VPN or something to use it, but they despise the idea of VPN. Like, I can't even so NordVPN is something I see a lot, and I'm interested in their service, but I never used it. But I know a lot of the YouTubers I watch are sponsored by them. So I tried to access their website. They blocked their website at my school. So I can't even download or even visit their website to even just look at it. So they are not happy with me trying to alter that stuff in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. It was a weird scenario, but I did, I thought it was a fun game. I had fun with it. Competitive was fun, at least for me. Me and Brendy did a couple game battles as well. That were okay.
I'd love to get back into that too.
Yeah, me too. It ends up falling on our list of things to play. We've been grinding NHL for so long, and we end up going to Fortnite or something like that. But yeah, no, I definitely want to get back into game battles and stuff like that. I would kill for like a remastered Black Ops 2, and we go through a competitive season of that again. Oh my god, that was the best time, man. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't know how to feel with Call of Duty anymore. But
it's not a game I'm looking forward to anymore. It just never is. I mean, I'll still watch the trailers. I'll still, follow the rumors and everything else. But for the most part, it never hasn't grabbed my attention for quite a while.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like back, obviously, like the Modern Warfare 2 and 3 and your early Black Ops games, like it was one of those things where just like everybody was talking about it. Like that was when it was about to come out, that was the only thing people were excited for, like gaming wise. So
it still has its fan base.
Oh, for sure. And it's not, I guess for me, it's like not growing anymore. Like maybe it has hit that plateau. So I just don't, maybe it isn't dying per se, but it just feels like it's just not.
There's not as much hype around it
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not as much hype around it. I mean, I will still watch things, and I'll still, if it's somewhat decent, I'll still probably buy it. Because it's at the end of the day, it's a fun first person shooter, but it's not as, to me, enlightening or amazing as like Black Ops 2 was for me. So I don't know. I really don't know. We'll keep following this though. I mean, I just found this interesting from an industry perspective because they basically just took two screaming childs and put them down in their place. Is how I took this whole thing. So I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. And let's move on to Riot Games is making a mobile version of League of Legends.
We are all off today, man. We should.
Bro, I don't know what's happening.
We're dying. That's what happens when we don't do a podcast for a while.
Really,
we spent so much time warming up.
Zach was. Insider news: Zach was pissed off because we took a little too long on prep today. Just want to say
a little.
45 minutes.
We were supposed to start at 12:30. We started at 1.
Hey, and guess what? Look how bad we suck. Okay. We need to prep some more. So shut the fuck up. All right. Next time we'll get on 2 hours before.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyway, Riot Games is developing the version with a Chinese tech company called Tencent. That is from Kotaku. And I will give this to you, Bobby, because I literally know absolutely nothing about League of Legends. That was never a game I wanted to play, but I know you dabbled in it, so you can take this away.
High school, I was all in on League of Legends. I was never any good, but it was a lot of fun to play. A lot of the friends I would play with in high school, they got good at the game, like really good at the game, so I kind of fell off the ladder, and it just really didn't interest me anymore. I think a lot of why I didn't end up doing it anymore is because, like, you have to pay for each hero. You have to pay for rune pages, which was annoying to me. So I just I mean, I've given my criticism before about in-game purchases and stuff like that, especially for something that's very core to the game. But it is a free-to-play game, but in general, so I really can't be too mad at it. But regardless, so yeah, League of Legends probably arguably still the most popular game. The LCS every year, the esports league for League of Legends is always a huge Twitch buster every single time. Worlds is ridiculous. Like they have it at like the Staples Center and stuff like that with these huge displays. Like it's nuts. The stage design for those things. I've had live performances and stuff like that. Like it's a big sporting event, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. So Tencent, which is a Chinese company, I believe they actually own Riot Games, if I'm not mistaken. It said somewhere in the article. So they own Riot Games, and they announced that, there's going to be a mobile version of League of Legends that will be coming out soon. They talked about other games that were released, mobile MOBAs that were released. So the main one being Honor of Kings that Tencent developed in China, is exclusively in China. It was launched in November 2015, became apparently the world's highest grossing multiplayer online battle arena game of MOBA, according to Reuters. It apparently created tensions with Riot, though, where they were, it was an adaptation of League of Legends, is what they called it. So there was a lot of other games that came out, like Arena of Valor. I know Vainglory's one that came out. There was actually a competitive league on Vainglory. That was the weirdest Twitch stream I ever watched in my life, because it was basically five players on each side, obviously, in this MOBA, and they were playing competitively on their phones. It was one of the weirdest things I ever saw. So apparently now they're going to develop this mobile version together, and I'm sure it'll do fine. Anybody who's a huge mobile gamer, I am definitely not, will probably be excited about this. It'll get big numbers. League of Legends has remained so popular for so long, and it's not even remotely dying anytime soon. So this is a cool expansion that they're going to do. And Riot Games, I read somewhere that League of Legends is the only game they've ever made. And I'm not surprised. Really. Supporting everything in that game takes a lot of work. So I'm not surprised by that fact at all. So nice little expansion that they're planning on doing, and I'm sure it'll sell well. I'm sure people will download and play. And I've all the confidence in the world that it'll do really well. What?
You got games on your phone? That's how it's gonna be. Now they have Minecraft, Fortnite, now League of Legends, RuneScape.
My favorite mobile gaming thing recently was that when they announced the new when Blizzard said Diablo was coming to the phone instead of announcing a new Diablo, and it just completely went to hell. That's a big meme, because the guys are like, "Don't you have phones? Don't you guys have phones?" Like, yeah, we have phones. We don't want to play it on our phones, you dumbass. So I don't know. But people, like I said, people will download it, and what's different than the Diablo release is that this isn't like a new release. Like, this is just them being like, hey, you want to play it on your phone? Here you go. The PC version and the computer version is not going to change a bit. So
you got games on your phone. You got games on your phone.
I do not play any games at all. I play like daily chess, like you have like a day to move. So I go on. I literally go on my phone, make my move, and then go. But I end up
playing phone games that are meant to be on the phone.
Yeah,
like Bloons Tower Defense or like Doodle Jump.
I was into Clash of Clans for a while on Clash Royale.
Let's go Clash of Clans. How about Clash Royale? Come on.
That's what I said. It's like Clash Royale afterwards.
Clash Royale, I was a fucking beast at. But
Ty, do you remember our study hall when we would just play that?
Oh yeah, me, you, and Nick Brett. Let's go. Shout out to our boy Nick.
Shout out Nick Brett and Brett 21. I'm sorry, and Brett 81 on Twitter. Our boy.
I got insanely good at Clash Royale, like as the game was dying, which was really annoying. Like I think I had like 4,500 trophies or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's annoying, but yeah. Anyway, to get off topic, but I guess let's move on to our big topics this week.
Oh, baby!
And this first one here is huge.
Baby.
Buckle in, everybody. You're in for a ride.
This is huge for the gaming community as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't heard about it, Tfue is filing a lawsuit against FaZe. So he's suing. I'll read the exact
illegal contract.
Yeah, it's a legal contract. So this is from let's see, this is from Engadget, and Jessica Condit wrote this. Basically, I guess it's essentially like the proper term would be he's suing FaZe for violating California labor laws, specifically the Talent Agency Act, and he's looking to basically get away from FaZe. He's looking to break away. This is something that kind of broke. He just basically out of nowhere. I don't know if this was out of nowhere, to be honest. Like I think you probably would know. Like it just seemed like out of nowhere. It's like, oh my god, here we go. Like he wants out.
It was out of nowhere that he did it publicly, but the general consensus seems to be that there was, well, according to FaZe and most of the FaZe guys, is that they've been trying to renegotiate his contract for quite a few months now. Because the contract that he's been in up until this point has been the first one that they gave him, which is according to Tfue, and we'll play his statement in a little bit. There's this 3-year contract with these certain things that FaZe never claimed on, so they tried to renegotiate and this and the other thing. But it sounds like my understanding is that Tfue got scared and pulled the lawsuit just so we can get out of the contract. Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, he said, and like you said, we'll play a clip. But he said in his statement that he shouldn't have signed the contract in the first place. He was basically saying that he was young and dumb and signed the contract. But this is interesting because you have the biggest gaming organization in the world and probably the first or second biggest gamer in the world. Fortnite game, Fortnite gamer at least. With him and Ninja being up there, so it's like the clash. It's like the clash of two, and basically what he's saying is like their FaZe is taking advantage of him. So like it kind of opens like kind of the first thing I thought honestly is like, is this what happens everywhere, or is this just like, so like because if the best guy is getting taken advantage of, like there other people have to be too. Like I just can't see why they wouldn't be.
So if you don't mind, let's just go through some of the events that happened with this story. If you'll let me, because there's a little bit to unpack here.
Yeah.
So we'll start on, I think it was the 20th. So it was on Monday, May 20th. The report comes out that Tfue has filed an official lawsuit against FaZe Clan for violating the California Talent Agency Act, which basically has to do with protecting creators, artists, etc., from these type of things. Is basically what it is, and especially California being home to Hollywood, Los Angeles, etc. That's not surprising that stuff like that exists over there. So what's interesting? So Tfue is labeled in this lawsuit as an artist, not an athlete, which kind of makes sense. Even though he's supposedly like an esport athlete, he's also a streamer, where that's where most of his revenue comes from. It's not the prize money. The prize money he's raked in from Fortnite about $500,000. Everything else, like the millions that he's supposedly getting, there's no exact agreeable numbers as to what exactly his total revenue is, but he's supposedly earning millions from Twitch streaming and YouTube videos, etc. He's got 10 million subscribers on YouTube and millions of followers on Twitch. So the lawsuit comes out. The claim states that FaZe is able to take 80% of his revenue. Alleges Tfue's contract with FaZe allowed the organization to collect up to 80% of the revenue he earned from third parties, preventing him from signing lucrative sponsorship deals. So that includes, stuff like, I don't know, maybe G Fuel or Razer or Steel Series, something like that. Like, so those type of companies, those type of brand deals. So he signed this contract in April 2018, and we will put a graphic up right now. Look where his viewership spikes. In his Twitch. He's been Twitch streaming for a long time. You can see that he's been constantly streaming. This comes from twitchtracker.com. You can see he's been constantly streaming for the past couple of years. And then once he signed the contract in April 2018, his viewership just completely skyrocketed and he became arguably the biggest gamer on the platform. So that happens, and immediately you see a split right off the bat between who agrees with Tfue and who agrees with FaZe Clan. All the FaZe guys, all the members of the leaders, the owners, the players, all kind of band together and say no, that this doesn't happen. Even like former players, like former CSGO pros and other guys even chimed in. So they signed the agreement. So here's, without getting too much into the personal details of things, here's what is, I guess, currently established. So Tfue did make a statement until today, and like I said, I'll play that in a second because that's basically the most recent point that we're at in the story. But FaZe made a statement not a few hours later, saying the following: "We're shocked and disappointed to see the news of Tfue's press article and lawsuit. Over the course of our partnership with him, which began in April 2018, FaZe Clan has collected $0 in tournament winnings, $0 in Twitch revenue, $0 in YouTube revenue, and $0 from any social platform. In fact, we've only collected a total of $60,000 from our partnership, while Tfue has earned millions as a member of FaZe Clan. While contracts are different with every player, all of them, including Tfue's, have a maximum of 20% to FaZe Clan in both tournament winnings as well as content revenue, with 80% to the player. In Turner's case, Tfue's real name is Turner. Turner's case, neither of those have been collected by FaZe Clan. We're proud of what we accomplished together the past year with Turner, and we'll continue to support him." So they're basically completely going on the opposite, saying, "Oh no, the contract says that FaZe Clan only gets 20%, while the player keeps 80% in his specific case." They deny all these allegations, etc., etc. But what's So what seems to be the claim, because FaZe Banks, one of the owners of FaZe, made a video called Dear Tfue. He's been very emotional about this. There's a lot of tweets that he sent out emotionally because he was the one who found Tfue. His story goes that he got into a game with him and noticed how good he was. He saw that he was streaming, so he watched his stream and he found it very entertaining. So he worked to bring him into the FaZe Fortnite division, which he did. So Banks had a first personal connection as far as to get code Tfue tattooed on him, which I'm sorry is kind of funny. So there's that. But so what apparently is in the contract is up in the air. But what's the problem is with what FaZe's defense is that they're saying, oh yeah, we had these provisions in there, but we didn't claim on any of it. Okay, but it's still there, right? So that means at the moment, at any time, they can choose to claim on those contract provisions, or at least that's the idea. So think of the millions that Tfue supposedly gets from his live streams, from his content creation, etc. Apparently, the idea is that they can at any point say, "Oh yeah, where's our 80% or where's our 20%?" And that's a hell of a lot of money if it's 80%. That's a lot of freaking money. That's most of his revenue. That's most of his profits.
Why would you sign a contract like that?
Well, that's the thing, and that's the big if about this whole story is that Tfue acknowledged in his statement that, and you'll hear it in a second, like I said, that he didn't know any better because he was a very unknown streamer at the time. So he got the contract. He thought for the most part it was fair. They ran it by his attorney or his father's. His father's involved in this for some reason. I don't even know how. So, and he just signed the contract thinking it was okay. And he acknowledges in a statement that it was a bad contract to sign. He didn't know any better. It was stupid. It was dumb, whatever. So yeah, stupid contract. And
well, if they made the contract like that and he signed it, he doesn't really have a case.
No, he does.
To that.
Well, no, he does if the contract itself is illegal.
Right. So that's the point, is that under the Talent Agency Act, there's a possibility that contract, how it's written, is illegal. So that's his case. And his FaZe is making the case, well, yeah, maybe it is, but we didn't claim on any of it, which is not going to really hold, I don't think.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter. So now, and then the other part of it was, so FaZe also and Banks specifically talked about how they were going to renegotiate the contract, and they've apparently been trying to do that over the past few months. And the current numbers that are out for that they were going to pay Tfue $1 million a year, where FaZe didn't take any of his revenue, and all he had to do was really just represent FaZe Clan. So just have their branding, have his name there, et cetera, et cetera. We can't obviously verify it's just true. It's coming from Banks and the other owners, so I guess you kind of have to believe it. But the other provision that he said that was in there, that it was going to nullify the previous contract. So if it nullifies the previous contract, they can no longer claim on any of his previous revenue. So they can't take the 80% at the end of the day. So that's basically what happened. You saw a lot of Twitter divide, and Tfue waited up until last night, which was May 22nd. We were recording on May 23rd. To make a statement, which I do have a clip of. I cut it down to about 1:30. It's like 2.5 minutes long. He posted it right on YouTube. And yeah, I'll just play it for you, and you can kind of hear for yourself.
First, I want to say all the stuff about the gambling, the stunts, the drinking. I told my lawyer I didn't.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. The part of what the lawsuit alleges is that FaZe Clan forced Tfue to illegally gamble and drink underage and do stunts, and one of them apparently led to permanent disfigurement. I don't know what that quite means in terms of what it actually was. So that was one of the things in there. So that's what he's talking about in the first part of this video.
Not want that in there, and he will do exactly just that. He will take it out. What I really want to talk about is the main point. I never wanted to upset anybody. I never wanted to bring that stuff in. I never wanted to get anybody to get emotional, because this isn't about that. This is about me and this contract. This contract that I signed when I didn't know any better. I'm an idiot. I should have never signed it in the first place. This 3-year contract. What is in this contract is so bizarre. It's so fucked. This contract basically allows FaZe at any point in 3 years to just fucking take all my hard earnings and all my hard work and just strip it. Over 49%, over 79%. What is in this contract is insane, and that's not even the worst parts. And what I'm trying to do here is just serve justice to the esports community, the esports industry. These kids are getting ripped off. They're getting taken advantage of. These contracts are not okay, and this needs to never happen again. And there's tons of people in contracts this bad, just like me. And I'm the first person to stand up and say, this is fucked. This is not right. This is not cool. This is fucking bullshit. I can't disclose what is within this contract, but FaZe Clan, please release the contract for the public to see. Fuck, let me show the public. Just give me permission to show these people the truth. Show the fucking contract, FaZe. Release the fucking contract. Everybody, hashtag release the fucking contract.
So that was his statement, and that's kind of where we're up to today. I'm hearing that FaZe did say, Banks did say the FaZe is working to release the contract, so you might see it in the next day or two. There's supposedly a leak for the contract, but I really don't want to bring that up yet because it is a very,
it's too sketchy right now.
Yeah, it's way too sketchy. I did read it, and it does kind of confirm what Tfue is saying about 80-20, but again, it is just a leak, and I really don't want to get into that. But that's where we're at. So FaZe is planning on releasing the contract to the public. I really don't know where that's going to go. That's really what's going to prove who's right and who's wrong in this scenario. And here's the thing. Let's say that the 80-20 thing is there. FaZe is still going to say, oh, but we never claimed on it. It doesn't matter. And that's something that Philip DeFranco...
it's going to hold up.
Yeah, Philip DeFranco made a point about that yesterday in his video when he talked about it. He said, all that matters is what's in the contract. It doesn't matter what they actually did. Because that still means that at any point they can claim that money. It doesn't matter when, they can do it whenever. So it's a weird contract, and the idea was that they were renegotiating it, so this didn't have to happen. It was going to nullify everything, but Tfue didn't want that. FaZe is also saying that Tfue's father, who's apparently like his manager or whatever, has really been forcing him to do this. This is all a legal move, which makes sense. So we'll see. I mean, if Tfue's in this bad of a contract, I'm really not surprised that this was his move. I mean, it's a really bad contract if it's this 80-20 thing. So I'm not surprised this is the move he made. I really am curious to what happened behind closed doors, why he didn't want a new contract with FaZe, if everything FaZe says is true. But there has to be something else that's missing as to why he didn't take another deal with them. That's what I think so far.
So...
Well, sorry, I just want to ask you real quick, Bobby. Like, could it also just be a possibility, like Tfue, was just like a new, was like an new, well, not a new streamer, but like no one had ever heard of him, so like he just went ahead and signed whatever with FaZe because he knew that would get him the attention he deserves.
That's what I think happened. I honestly don't think he expected everything to blow up like he did. I mean, yeah, because if you look at the graph that I put up earlier, you see the spike happen with FaZe. He was getting a few hundred viewers. He had some viewers, but as soon as he signed with FaZe and he was getting promoted and his stream getting tweeted out and stuff by Banks, everything else, the viewership definitely spiked. So to say that FaZe definitely launched Tfue's career is not at all wrong. It is definitely there. So yeah, and that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. I'm sure that there was some consultation with the contract, but I'm sure that to him, he didn't think he was going to get enough or whatever, and he ended up signing the contract because that's what's there. Unless it turns out that 80-20 is wrong and the 80-20 was in the favor of him instead of FaZe, then now it's like, okay, so now what are you trying to say at this point? Are you really not happy with them taking 20%? So I don't know. I
have
really
to say the tone of that video that was played didn't sound like very convincing.
No, I think it was scripted.
I agree. It sounded like just really...
Sounded like just really
bad.
It's completely ingenuine. Just like he's trying to get something out of it. That's just my opinion, though. That there's no fact to that at all.
I think he's going off what his attorneys are telling him.
Honestly, though, I don't know how to really explain this, but I'll try to explain it the best I can. It sounded like almost like the stereotypical gamer streamer, though. It's like, hey guys, this sucks. Why are you talking like that? Stop. Just talk like a normal human being.
I mean, he has to hit home, right? I mean, he has to show everybody. Remember who I am? I am Tfue.
The fucking classic, oh, what's up, guys?
But I don't know.
Fucking eyes are popping out.
It was definitely scripted or somewhat scripted. I mean, the video, if you haven't seen it, we just played the audio. The video is him on his phone in the hills. So. That's all it is, and that's why he hears him in the win there. But that was the only statement he's made. He's been very quiet on Twitter. He's been non-existent on Twitch, Twitter, etc. So, it's a sad situation, really. I mean, I never really watched him, but I always thought he was cool. I didn't have a problem with him. Banks has been taking this extremely hard, as you can imagine. Like I said, he's had like a really personal relationship with Tfue because he found him. And
I mean, yeah, I'd be pissed off too if like I got a tattoo of Tyler and Tyler was just like, "All right, fuck you, we're not friends anymore."
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Banks did release a 20-minute video. I do recommend everybody go watch it. I was cutting clips down for it today, and then Audition crashed and I lost it. So, and we were out of time. So, but I will put a link in the description or something for everybody to go watch it. But it's called Dear Tfue. He describes the claims and tries to dispute them the best he can, and then also gives his personal side of things with his relationship with Tfue and etc. So it's a really nice point of view from Banks' side of things, and I'm assuming that FaZe kind of let him talk about some of the more business stuff because he does bring up the claims a bit. So I guess that's also kind of being a mouthpiece for FaZe. But yeah, so far we're waiting on what the contract actually is. We're waiting for that to be released to the public, and we'll kind of have to see where everything goes from there. But what I was really interested in, and why I know at this point, if anybody's listening, I'm sure most people who are even remotely familiar with the gaming world kind of already know the story. But what I was really interested in having a discussion about is, do we think that this is going to have huge implications on the esports industry, streamer industry, etc.? And I think yes. I do think Tfue said in his video, like, there are other people in this contract, like not specifically with FaZe, but I'm sure that there are other people in other gaming organizations that are in similar contracts. I would totally believe that, because I'm sure there are a lot of other streamers. There's a lot. Most streamers are affiliated in some way with another organization. There's a lot of them out there these days.
Right. It all comes back to read before you sign.
Exactly, and kind of know what you're getting into, and have an attorney, man. Go get an attorney. If you know a lawyer, please go talk to a lawyer. They'll review these contracts and help you.
Well, real quick, I just want to say, because this kind of all ties in, because I was trying to figure out like why his dad was involved. But he's 21, so like he must have I guess he signed that contract when he was 17. So maybe his dad like had to legally had to do it.
He was 20 he was 20 when he signed. I don't know where you're getting that from.
He's 21 now.
Yeah, he's 21 now. He signed the contract in April 2018.
Oh,
yeah. That long.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't even know why I thought about that. Yeah, because I brought that up because I'm trying to figure out why the fuck his dad was involved. But
it sounds like his dad is his manager as well. Like he like his agent, I guess, if you want to call it that. And then he has a team of attorneys.
I would not do that.
Nope.
Yeah, my bad. For some reason, I took a 3-year contract, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the end of his contract."
Yeah, no, 3-year contract as of 2018, so it would expire in April 2021 if it were to go to term. But yeah, so his dad, Banks blames his dad a lot for this in his video. He says that he's whispering in his ear basically, and he's telling Tfue what to do and make these moves. And Tfue, maybe not knowing all this legal business stuff, is going to go along with the guy who might know a thing or two about it, probably. So that's not surprising to me. But for the people who don't have that kind of luxury of maybe having somebody to help them with these contracts, I'm sure people have signed worse contracts.
It's probably that his dad really was trying to help, but he's not like necessarily business savvy. So
maybe not. And I think this is a panic move. I really do. I don't know why they panicked. I don't know why you're panicking now. I guess I don't know. It's really weird. I mean, the idea was that they were in negotiations, and I guess he pulled this stunt because he wasn't happy with what they were giving him. But who knows? I definitely see. Let's assume that Tfue doesn't drop the lawsuit, which I honestly think Tfue dropping the lawsuit is what ends up happening out of this whole thing. I really do. But let's say he doesn't drop the lawsuit and this goes to court. I gotta assume if he wins this case, you're gonna see a lot of things happen in this industry right now. You're gonna see some streamers might go into their I'm sure a lot of them are looking at their contracts already, like, oh wait, am I in that kind of same contract? And they might be bugging their organization, like, hey, why am I in this contract? I want out. And you might see some other lawsuits come up. Who knows? I don't think it's gonna be this. It's not gonna be like a
settlement's not unlikely either.
No, I don't think it's like apocalyptic to this industry, but it's definitely going to change how streamers are viewed in a legal sense and how organizations work with streamers and esports athletes in general.
Right.
This has some serious
implications. Like esports, like players unions.
I mean, so I think one started for CSGO. or League of Legends. One
Yeah,
of
I
those
was gonna say League of
one.
Legends has one.
Yeah. Fortnite, I don't think does. So I don't know. I think it's weird because the idea is that Fortnite is kind of letting anybody, who qualifies get into the World Cup. So a players union doesn't make sense because that would have to mean that you have to establish a league and then you have to join the league and then you're in the union, right? But Fortnite, how they do their tournaments is, hey, look, if you qualify, they qualify. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And that's how a lot of esports have been up until recently. League of Legends has their same teams and they have relegations and stuff like that. CSGO no different. Call of Duty has the World League now. Rocket League's a little bit looser, but still has a similar scenario. So where this gets interesting, though, it's not even esports in this case. They're labeling Tfue as an artist because he's a streamer, and that's where most of his revenue comes from, even though he is a part of FaZe's Fortnite competitive team. So I don't know, because like I said, the prize winnings that he has in total of Fortnite is somewhere in the range of $500,000. But that's not even touching apparently what his revenue is from Twitch streaming and YouTube, etc. So that's what he's fighting for. He's fighting for his creation, his streaming persona, his the work that he does for that, and it's a lot of work. Don't the people who say it's just you playing video games? There's a lot more to it than people quite understand. You have to keep a certain quality when you're streaming, otherwise you're not going to have that viewer base, right? You always need to get better at the game. You need to be someone entertaining. There's a lot of work into it, man. It's like being a TV host, man. And a lot of these guys stream for hours and hours and hours on. The people who do the 24-hour live streams are insane, by the way. I just want to point that out.
Like like when you play a game for a couple of hours, you're like, all right, I'm tired of playing. And imagine having to play it for 12 more hours.
the one dude, so I'm into iRacing, which is an online racing simulator like NASCAR and IMSA and stuff like that. It's really fun. There's a real life race called the 24 Hours of Daytona, which is a team race at Daytona Speedway in Florida, where it's a 24-hour race, 24-hour time race. And what happens is drivers have shifts and switch off every few hours in the pit. They do that online on the iRacing service as well. And I know in the past year or two, there's been one guy who's been doing it all by himself for the full 24 hours. But he was doing it for charity and live streaming it, which was cool. That's why I think a lot of the 24-hour streams end up doing YouTube for charity. I know Rooster Teeth does Extra Life and stuff like that. So, but that guy's nuts. But the point is, there's a lot of work going into streaming, and there's a lot of work of being an artist on Twitch and stuff like that. So, I definitely just see this being you might start seeing some streamers looking at their contracts and maybe pulling some legal moves themselves. Who really knows? Like even some of the smaller guys.
Well, that's what like me kind of saying before. Like this is one of like the biggest organization and one of the biggest guys out there. Like if this is happening to him, you'd imagine that this kind of maybe, I don't know if inspires is the right word, but it makes the guys influence. There you go.
He paints himself
somebody. So
and he paints him in his video. You hear him. He paints himself as a martyr. Like he's saying, like I'm doing this for other people who I know are in these other contracts. Obviously, we can't confirm who is in what type of contract. Every streamer that I've seen react to this, Ninja did the whole thing about it. Summit was 1G was talking about it a little bit. They're all like, "What the hell is this contract?" Like none of them could comprehend the contract that he signed, which he did acknowledge he signed it, didn't really know anything about. But it's there's got to be smaller people who are in this type of contract. I mean, he blew up so fast that he wouldn't expect it. If he was somewhat doing okay before FaZe signed him, you might have seen him go and negotiate for a better contract. But since FaZe blew him up, I'm sure the contract he got was not the best in the world because it was like basically what would be in the sports world like an entry level contract, right? Mm-hmm. So who knows? I really am curious to see what the contract is because that's really going to shed some truth and some light on the rest of the matter. One thing's for sure, I really don't think this ends Tfue's career in any way. Even if he would have to be lying about literally everything, but there's got to be some truth to the story somewhere. I just don't know what it quite is yet, and I don't really want to take sides yet. Although I just think that FaZe is saying like, oh yeah, but we never claimed on it is not the smartest move and not the thing that's really going to help them really at all. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal analyst at all. That's just what I think, and that's what seems the consensus for everybody is like, well, what's on the paper? We don't care about what you did. We care about what's on the paper because that's the legally binding notarized document. So you might, like I said, I think this has some huge implications and is going to really set some definitions for people, creators, artists, streamers, esports, athletes, etc. You might start to see some, like, what is the definition of this? And, you know, it's a lot of legal stuff that's going to end up happening that might change this whole game.
Yeah, for sure. And I am sure that there will be in the next coming days stuff out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if something later came out about this. So yeah, this is something we'll definitely probably be following up on, or at least tweeting about it, our opinion and stuff like that. So
I do want to hear one other opinion from you guys. So, obviously film and television and even sports like the NBA, NHL, NFL, etc. all have unions or guilds of some kind that protect these rights. Would you like to see one for, esports athletes is a given, because athletes especially can really get in contracts like this, like really, really bad contracts from organizations, etc. like that. But what about Twitch streamers, like when they sign to an organization?
That's
like,
what I think. I'm not sure it's so, it would be so important to have with gaming, because with professional sports, you're playing with the team, so you can all be mistreated. But when you're like when you're playing by yourself with your Twitch streamer, you're gaining popularity. You can kind of be in control of that.
Yeah.
So I think it may be necessary for certain leagues, like say Overwatch League or Call of Duty World League, for example. Yeah. I'm not like singling out those companies as just an example, but as far as like Twitch streamers go and like YouTubers and stuff like that, it might not be necessary for them to join a players union.
I don't know. It's just I know I keep saying this, but like, this is such a big deal because of the nature of like the beast and who it is. So does this open the eyes for people like that? Like, and I know I keep saying it, but like that's got to be the point, because if this is somebody smaller, and maybe not, I'm not saying like like nobody knows them or anything, but like if this isn't like your top 20 streamers or something like that, like does this get this publicity and does everybody talk about it the way they are? I don't know, because I don't know if you're talking about somebody else, if you're talking about a union, but since it's Tfue, is that why we're talking about it? I don't know.
The thing is, and that's what's important about this case. He's not looking for $500. There's millions of dollars on the line right now, because there's the possibility that FaZe can claim on his contract provision and take a lot of that money.
Right.
Which obviously Tfue doesn't want. So I don't blame him for this lawsuit. I really don't. Was this the right legal move? I couldn't tell you. I'm not a fucking lawyer. But what I can tell you is that if this contract is what he says it is, and he's already made millions, I'm not surprised he pulled this to get out of this contract at all. So if this contract is deemed illegal, then he gets everything, and then he doesn't have to worry anymore. So it's really what's gonna be really telling is when this contract comes out, and I'm gonna double check right now and just make sure it hasn't come out yet, because the idea was that it was gonna be out later today or tomorrow. I'm just double checking right now to make sure, but no, I'm not. I couldn't tell you if it was the right move. I really couldn't. But I definitely don't blame him for doing this, and I don't want to say who's right and who's wrong in this scenario. I've followed FaZe Clan since 2012, 2013. So I do like them. I'm not a fan of their current content, I'll be honest, but always enjoyed their Call of Duty content. Obviously, it's where everybody kind of knows them from, and then obviously their pro teams are very good. Call of Duty, CS:GO especially, they were really hot for a while. Enjoyed all that. So, and I had no problem with Tfue. So I'm not jumping on any of these bandwagons here. I'm just curious to see what's on the paper. That's all I care about right now.
Yeah. So a lot to talk about, and we will, like I said, kind of give our opinion on this if it is through the show or Twitter. But for now, let's move on to Brendy's segment, in case you missed it.
All right, boys. So while we were talking about the whole FaZe Tfue contract, the NBA actually just released the all NBA teams. And unsurprisingly, you've got some, there's not really anything too notable, but I will say, so Giannis made his second consecutive all NBA team. And if you knew anything about NBA contracts, then you would know how big of a deal this is. Giannis is going to be set to sign the biggest contract extension in NBA history. He'll be eligible to sign it in 2020, but this basically means he can sign a 5-year, $250 million contract extension to play 5 years of basketball. He gets $250 million.
Okay.
And you know what I say to that, though? He is worth every penny of that contract.
So
he's incredible.
So here's how it would be. And like the first year he signs his contract, $42.6 million. This is according to Bleacher Report, by the way. Next year, 46. Next year, 49.5. Next year, 52.9. And last year, 56.3. So
Right.
In his final year of his extension, he is going to make $56 million in a single basketball season.
And that's guaranteed, right?
NBA contracts are all guaranteed and usually include some incentives.
And yeah, I mean and like the sponsors, and obviously like in the endorsements he's getting now too, like he's going to be a very, very rich man. But hey, like I said, I think he deserves every penny. I think he's a dynamic player like LeBron James, like in terms of he's an athletic freak, and that's what like it makes him so special. And I think like those types of players are the best players in the NBA. A guy that is that big, that athletic, and that fast, and can shoot and do all that stuff. Like I think that is the most dominant player in the league, and I think Giannis, if not already, I guess not already, because I don't think anybody considers him the very best, but I think he could definitely be the best player in the league.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, Giannis has single-handedly turned, like, the 2013 NBA draft from, like, very bad to, like, about average.
Yeah,
because, like, I'm looking at the draft, and, like, the only other notable name is, there's two names, Victor Oladipo and then Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
But then, like, that's it. And then you get, like, a bunch of scrubs, and then people that haven't even played in the league yet.
It's funny because I got on I got on NBA 2K14 the other day because on that game, like my team on that, like I went hard on that game. Like I will admit up front, I spent way more money on that game than I should have. But that was my game, so I went back on that game for that. But I went into the franchise mode, and Giannis was a 59 overall in NBA 2K14. And it's crazy because he like I said, he's just an absolute monster now. And right now he's in the Raptors came back and tied it up, but he's 2 games away from taking his team to the NBA Finals. And he's just a dynamic player. And, like I said, I think he's deserving of every penny of that contract that he's going to be getting. So.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think, like, while some leagues, continue, certain leagues are wondering, like, what's going to be the future for them, like, especially the NFL. There's been some talk about, ratings decline, and in even baseball to an extent, they're worried about the future. It seems like the NBA, if they're giving their players, $40-50 million like it's nothing, I think things are working out pretty well for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the NBA is kind of weird because, like, obviously it has a salary cap, but it's much more lenient. Like,
Right.
It's much more lenient, like, than something like the NHL. And you got the max contracts and stuff like that. So, yeah, like I said,
it's fully guaranteed too.
Right. Yeah. And
okay. I will say it's fully guaranteed unless you sign a non-guaranteed contract, which usually only applies to second round draft picks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not happening. So,
Right.
so yeah, it's guaranteed. But yeah, and looking at the NBA, you know, the NBA first team. I just had the article up and then I lost it because I just wanted to mention a couple of things with it too.
I do want to say Karl Anthony Towns actually missed out.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Jokic. Let's see.
Because otherwise he would have been eligible as well.
Right. So
man's a beast.
Yeah. But the names on there are your kind of guys that you would always assume. Harden and Paul George had an amazing year. He's on there. Steph. So.
I mean, good for Giannis. I think he definitely deserves it.
The other thing to mention is that LeBron did not get on the first team All NBA for the first time since 2007. Kind of worth noting, because I mean the career he's had and what he's done.
Well, I think
that's an insane run.
Well, also I just want to say he didn't really seem to give it at all this season.
Well, I think when they were out of it, he kind of, and maybe he was, he's getting older now. You can't deny that, and he doesn't. Maybe it's like, hey, we're not making the playoffs. We're kind of struggling here. Let me not kill myself this year. And he sat out a lot too. Obviously, the end of the season, of course, but yeah, maybe it's just one of those things where it's let's not kill ourselves here and continue this career. But like I said, I just wanted to note that because that's literally amazing. LeBron is just unbelievable, and I didn't say that to be hey, haha, you didn't make it. It's he was 12 straight years, or 11 really, that he did it. That's
right.
So,
all right. Well, I just want to also I want to. This is completely random, but we've had a lot of gaming topics on today. So that's very good. So here's another one for you guys. So have you guys heard of the new handheld gaming system Playdate?
Playdate?
Yes.
No, that's hilarious. That's a hilarious name, though.
All right. Well, I'm gonna show you guys a picture, and what?
Huh?
So okay. It looks like a Game Boy Color, does it not?
It looks like a lot of things. Yeah, hold on a second. It looks like a Game Boy they have to wind up. It's like a freaking wind-up robot with a Game Boy.
Okay.
What is this?
So okay. So this is a new handheld gaming console. It says Playdate is our celebration of the video game. And so what? Yeah, I don't know. So it's apparently a lot. This is according to the Playdate website. It's alive with possibilities and surprises, future games, and new ways to make them. And it flips out from the side. It's a rotating analog controller that puts a whole new spin on games, which is what that lever is used for. And then some games. Okay, this is gonna sound really weird. Some games are gonna be using the crank exclusively.
What this looks like Bobby, what was that thing called? It was the thing you could draw or make the lines and then you shake it. Yeah, that. That looks like that, in a digital version to me. I don't know why. The picture on the screen looks like that.
Yeah.
So you can pre-order this right now for $149.
$149,
and it will ship in early 2020, and it will come with 12 games.
Nope. I'm good. I'm good over here.
I'm
pass. Good. I'm good, bro. This is a hard pass for me.
It looks like something from the future. They put it in a museum, and they're and early humans used this.
Yeah, this looks like they tried to be all nostalgic, but they just completely missed. So you said that there will be some games that are going to use the crank exclusively. Can you just imagine some kid sitting in I don't know, you're waiting in the doctor's office or something, you're in the waiting room or something. There's some kids playing to pass the time as you do,
just cranking away,
and I just it's like a fucking Jack in the Box or whatever. You just start cranking, he's slowly cranking, he's going through, and something's chasing him. Oh my fuck! I gotta Jesus. I'm good. I'm really good.
So when I first saw that, At first, I thought the crank was just used to like keep the fucking thing on, like kind of like that one episode of Drake and Josh where like they have that small TV and they gotta like
No, yeah.
do the crank.
Yeah, but do you know why they had to crank that TV? Because it was an emergency. They didn't have power.
This looks like an emergency console.
My phone broke. I am twiddling my thumbs. Oh, you know what'd be good? This $129 piece of complete garbage that I was just bored and bought while I was drunk.
Hey man, I'm not gonna knock it till I try it.
Can we call this a game console though? Like for real? Like I don't think we can call it a game.
This is
console.
something Soldier Boy would freaking sell.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a whole lot of info because they're kind of like for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason they are teasing the fuck out of this. So I don't know exactly.
The crank is turning.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what they're trying to fucking hide. Like,
we sure this isn't a Soldier Boy thing? Because crank.
No,
this is something you would do.
Console.
Yeah, the crank that.
No, I'm positive. Like they've created a few games like Firewatch. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Firewatch. I love that game.
I'm sure you do, bud.
I couldn't tell if that was sarcasm or not.
Me neither.
But no, they're really serious about this, so we'll have to. They'll have to keep an eye on it.
No, I don't think we do.
That's hilarious.
Okay, nope. I'm
crank on the side.
I'm not knocking it until I try it, man.
That thing's gonna break off when my
Dude,
first time using it.
Can't wait for Fortnite for the crank.
Huge recall for today. Wait, hold on one freaking second.
Yeah. So what happens if like you're playing a crank?
Breaking news: as the crank just fell off the goddamn Game Boy.
Yeah, that's what
a national recall has been established. Cooper has the story.
Yeah, like not a fan. Anyway.
Nope.
All right, so I'm going to move on to our last story, and this is actually pretty big. So
huge
breaking.
Huge.
So
what did you say? Breaking news?
I swear to Christ, kid.
Breaking news.
All right, moving on. So Nintendo has decided to pull. Can you shut the fuck up, kid?
You're killing the audio, you dumb cunt.
God. Nintendo decided to pull Animal Crossing. I fucking swear to God, kid. Shut the fuck. Okay. Nintendo has decided to pull Animal Crossing Pocket Camp from Belgium, and this is specifically due to loot boxes. Nintendo will be shutting down Animal Crossing Pocket Camp and Fire Emblem Heroes in Belgium due to their stance on loot boxes. Now, this is something that's kind of been growing for the past few months because a lot of people are not happy about the direction that loot. A lot of people really, really do not like loot boxes because it's kind of considered a form of gambling in a way.
I mean, that's why Belgium has such a big problem with it. Is that's how they view it,
right? But the thing is like this has the potential to spread to other countries, like, starting with Belgium. Like, who knows what could be next? Now, nothing new has come from this since, but it's definitely a little bit eye opening that a country has basically just banned loot boxes. Or at least they've banned a game with loot boxes.
Well, I mentioned this a while ago on the podcast, but this was a big thing because in the FIFA community, with Ultimate Team, they basically banned Ultimate Team from Belgium because a lot of the game is, you can open packs and obviously you're using money, so like that's the whole aspect they don't like. But that's a major part of the game, so they basically just banned the whole thing. And yeah, like I said, Belgium, like, I guess, considers it gambling more than anybody else. So that's why they're doing this. But, like, it seems dumb for that because I will not lie. I dabbled into that game because I used to love Animal Crossing on the Wii. And I just downloaded it one time. And, like, it wasn't great by any means. But, like, you can just – it's basically you're just buying stuff. You can buy stuff for your character and stuff like that. Like, that's what – wow, voice crack.
Wow, man.
Wow. Alrighty.
Holy God.
so yeah, I don't know. Like, it
My
didn't seem
voice
like a big
cracked daily.
deal. It didn't seem like a big deal, but Belgium, I guess, thinks it that way.
Personally, I fucking hate loot boxes, and they're the worst invention of video game history. Because I'm paying to play a game, and I don't have to fucking grind and hope I'm lucky to unlock items. Like to unlock things through challenges and playing the game.
Mm.
That's really my stance on it. So yeah, fuck loot boxes. Good for them for inventing it.
I mean,
never-
it goes hand in hand with microtransactions, and we all hate those. So
It's so. I mean, I don't mind them. Like if you don't have to pay for them, right? I mean, it just. My whole thing with loot boxes is it should never contain an item that is essential to playing the game. And I've always cited Overwatch as doing this correctly because you can go buy loot boxes on Overwatch. You can absolutely do that.
Yeah, but it's all cosmetic items.
Exactly.
Same thing-
You have
same
all the
thing with
heroes.
Fortnite.
Yeah, and same with Fortnite. Every time that they add a new hero or add a new character, you can play as that character. Absolutely. But you can buy loot boxes if you want to spice up, your character's looks, like, and stuff like that. It doesn't change any core aspect of the game. So I think Overwatch does it correctly, and I have no problem with those type of loot boxes being in the game. Not to mention, you can also earn loot boxes. They give you a ton of loot boxes in Overwatch. I've got a ton of skins from that game, and I haven't put a cent in that game. But this does to hit home though, because there has been a bill in the past week by these two Democrats, U.S. Senator Ed Markey and U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal. They proposed a bill to basically get rid of loot boxes. They believe it's exploitation, basically whatever Belgium is arguing here. So you might see this happen in the US as well. Now, I wonder if that has to force game developers' hands to finally get rid of them once and for all, if that were to ever pass. I don't see it passing.
By the way, if that happens, EA is literally going to go out of business.
EA is in so much trouble. They have banked so hard on loot boxes and hockey bags and packs.
Well, across all their games, they use loot boxes with Ultimate Team and stuff like that, and that's where their big revenue comes from. So
I love how people really started getting mad at EA when they fucked Star Wars. They're like, all right.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Well, because they took it to the extreme. Like, they're dumbasses, and they think people are going to pay for that. Like, people are smarter than they think. I don't know if you read some of that, the rest of that Call of Duty article, but there's apparently speculation that Infinity Ward is thinking about doing a free-to-play model for their upcoming game and doing loot boxes, I guess, or something in-game purchases to kind of fund the game. That's what they're thinking about. Activision and Treyarch have been very hesitant for that kind of thing, deservedly so. But that's apparently what Sledgehammer or Infinity Ward, is thinking. I don't know if it has a weight to it. It just says in the article, but I would not prefer that kind of thing. Because I'm sure what they're going to do is it's going to be, okay, yeah, cool, it's a free-to-play game, but you have to buy a lot of the things to keep playing the game. Like, I don't think it's going to be all cosmetic. I don't have faith in that, personally. Right. So
I don't know. I think we're on the same boat that we just hate paying for stuff when we already paid for the game. So I don't know. The thing about it though is, like, if you do take out loot boxes in games, like, I don't want to say you're destroy, like, for Ultimate Team, like, essentially, like, it's not like you're destroying the game, but you're making it, like, really hard, because, like, some of that is, like, you're not, like, some of those times you're not using money, so, like, in those times obviously it's good, but if you're taking loot boxes out, like, you got to take it all out. So I don't know. But if that's it, for in case you missed it, let's get to this last segment. Are
you going to be okay?
No. I'll cry, and then I'll yell, and then I'll cry some more. But we're just going to basically look at the Stanley Cup playoffs here, as the final is set. We have the Boston Bruins versus the St. Louis Blues, and I think the last time we talked, we were going through the first round, so obviously, I mean, we'll quickly, because it's so out of date now, go through, like, the second round real quick. So how St. Louis got here. They beat Dallas in round 2 in a Game 7. I think it was double overtime winner, actually. So they win Game 7. The Sharks win Game 7 against the Avalanche. In the East, the Bruins took care of the Blue Jackets in 6, and the fucking Carolina Hurricanes swept the New York Islanders. So it got us to the conference final of Bruins Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes then got swept by the Bruins. And a series that I didn't really watch too much of because it was just felt so one-sided to me. And then on the west side, we have St. Louis winning 4-2 over my Sharkies in Game 6. The last 2 games really not being too competitive. And one thing to note is that the Sharks did not win a game after that Game 3 overtime hand pass. So, yeah. It hurts.
Oh man.
I don't want to spend too much time on the Sharks, but I do have to mention them because obviously it's my favorite team, and I will say they might be one of the more interesting teams in the league with this offseason because a lot of people are saying that this might have been their shot, their last shot at least. And I know they say that every year for their Sharks, and they're always back, but as a Sharks fan, this hurts so much, and I'll tell you why. It's not because they lost whatever. In my opinion, and on the people in the opinion
Yes,
of
let's
a lot
hear
of
your
people,
hurt, Tyler. I'm an Atlanta sports fan. I'm
Fuck
ready
you.
for this.
I think this was the best Sharks team
Boo
that
fucking
that
who.
has ever been assembled.
Zach is chirping, man.
Yeah, he's such a fucking pussy. I don't know why he's talking.
Let me tell you,
I'm an Atlanta
Atlanta
sports fan.
sports fan.
Blah blah blah.
Hey,
Like,
look,
who the hell cares?
I've stayed quiet. All right.
Hey, Brendy, I appreciate it. But no, like I said, I think this was the best team they have ever had. And for them not to win, it hurts because, goddamn, 28 years and only 1 cup appearance sucks. But yeah, I mean, looking at their offseason, they're going to be one of the bigger teams because a lot of the moving pieces and the unrestricted free agents, stuff like that. The big one, obviously, being Erik Karlsson. It looks more and more likely that he's not going to stay, which I kind of figured. I figured it was going to be a rental situation, but they could always try to figure something out. But they're going to have cap problems, which is going to be the big thing with them. Joe Thornton. It also hurts so much because this may be his last chance, and he's been a Shark for life. I will say this: they're doing locker cleanout today, so they've had some people talk. Basically, Joe Thornton said that there's no timeline for his decision, but if he's not going anywhere, he will be a Shark. If he comes back, he will be a Shark. He's not going anywhere else, and there's that. And also, Joe Pavelski, being an unrestricted free agent, had a career year this year. He says he believes he'll be back as well. They also have other ones like Gustav Nyquist, who was also basically a rental. But yeah, man, it sucks. All credit to the Blues. I will fully admit they got screwed in that Game 3. I mean, it was pretty obvious they got screwed. They came out with fire in their belly, and took care of us. And Game 5 was not close. Game 6, the final score is 5-1. I don't think that was a fair result at all. But because they got an empty netter and a late goal in there. But yeah, I think it's tough to swallow. But the Blues. So I will say too, my bracket for the one we did with our friends, I actually got the Western Conference Final right. I got the Blues and the Sharks because I thought the Blues, if it wasn't the Sharks, it was going to be the Blues because I think it was from January 2nd. On January 2nd, they had the worst record in the NHL. And now they're in the Stanley Cup Final, and they just got so hot in the second half, and they finally found a goalie who could make saves. So yeah, it's a tough one, but as as I hate to say, but it always has to say, I guess we'll just have to look for next year, and can't wait till October. But as for the Stanley Cup Final, we got the Bruins and the Blues. Bruins have home ice advantage in the series. Interesting note that keeps kind of being brought up is that after an Eastern Conference team sweeps an opponent, they get swept the next round. So you got the Islanders sweeping the Penguins. They got swept in the next round, and then by the Hurricanes, and then they got swept by the Bruins. So we'll have to kind of see if that continues. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have too much to add on this. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Stanley Cup Final, but I'm obviously disappointed because it's not the Sharks. But two good teams and two teams that deserve to be there for sure. I think the Blues definitely deserve to be there. I think the Bruins look. I hate the Bruins. I'll be like I can't stand them, but I think a lot of people are talking a lot of shit on them. They're a good hockey team, and they deserve to be there.
You're also rooting for them too.
You know what? I don't know because I don't really have a problem with the Blues. I don't.
They're a good, clean team, dude. They play smooth.
They do.
They're so technical.
One thing I want to mention too, I think Craig Berube got brought in as an interim coach, and he has done. I mean, obviously they're in the Stanley Cup Final. He's done a phenomenal job. I think we got outcoached. I shouldn't say. I don't want to say outcoached, but he made a game plan that shut us down. He, the Sharks are, a forechecking team, and they create opportunities after forechecking. In the first game, the Blues had way too many turnovers, and that's why we blew them out. They cleaned up the turnovers. They pressured the Sharks, and they did really well. And I think Berube obviously he's not going anywhere. He'll be there next year, no matter what happens in this final. But for an intern coach right now to be in the finals and what he's done to that team is awesome. And like I said, I don't have any problem with the Blues. Like I said, I don't like the Bruins, but I don't really care at this point. Like I don't know. I mean, it's more like I just want to watch good hockey and a rematch of the 1970 final, a big old Bobby Orr moment. Bobby Orr. You're the best at it. So.
Oh God, I hit my mic. I'm sorry, Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr.
But yeah, as for predictions for me, I think it's tough, man. I don't know. I want to say the Bruins because I think they are maybe slightly better, but they've also been on a lot of rest, and I think coming into the first game of the Stanley Cup Final is going to have like 10 or 11 days of rest, and it's one of those things where it's like rest or rust. So we'll have to see. But I'll go for my prediction. I'll go Bruins in 6, I think. But yeah, like I said,
that one. With my thought being Stanley Cup experience. They're a tough team in general. Blues are hot, and we saw with the Canes. Don't ever discount the streak factor at all. But I think the Bruins are just always a solid team, like every time. So the Blues have more of an uphill battle. So yeah, I got Bruins in 6. I think the Magic dies in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, two good teams, like I said, either way.
It's going to be a good final. If you haven't watched yet.
I'm just hoping for good hockey. And the thing about the Western Conference Final was that either way, whoever advanced, it's going to be a team in the Stanley Cup who's never won the Stanley Cup. The Sharks, only one appearance, and the Blues have been there. They were there in the expansion years, haven't been there since 1970, and they're looking for their first cup. And the Bruins, obviously they have a long history, but they haven't won since 2011. So you're getting a fresh team to win the cup, which is also cool too. I will say, I also just hate the Bruins just because, it's not. They're obviously everybody says they're a dirty team, and that's true. But I'm just so sick of fucking Boston winning championships. So that I guess there's that factor. But yeah, I'll just hoping for a good final. And unfortunate for me for the Sharks, but hold on, we got some breaking news.
Oh wait, we really? Breaking
No, he's
news.
just saying that for fun.
We do have some breaking news.
What's going on?
Brendy, the Sharks lost. Do you have an announcement to make for next season?
Oh yeah. Oh, hang on.
Wow, I built that up, and you're gonna.
Let's try that again. Ty, let's do it again. Brendy, are you ready?
Oh, I guess not.
Holy crap! All right, hold on. We got to wait on this breaking news because it's obviously very important.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, Brendy. Hold on, Ty. Let's do it again. Go from the top. All right, ready?
So here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we got some breaking news here.
Breaking news.
Your boy is now a Sharks fan.
And you know what? It's so tough.
Zach.
I hate to hear it because you're gonna be disappointed for so long. So
I'm not
a sports fan, buddy. Come on, we already know the drill.
How many times are you going to say that? Like,
just saying, you're acting like we don't know what disappointment is like.
And Tyler, I've told you this. I reserve the right.
Yeah,
to switch to an Atlanta team if Atlanta gets another hockey.
So 80% that you reserve the right and 20% goes to us.
I was just about to say, in his contract to be a Sharks fan, there is a clause that if Atlanta gets a hockey team back, he goes there.
Yep,
it's an official notarized document, by the way, courtesy of the Complaint Network.
Some of us like to watch the teams of the city that we live in.
Well, I'm sorry, Atlanta doesn't have a team.
You are a Winnipeg fan?
Yeah,
we don't have a hockey team.
But then you can't make that argument.
They just moved, dude. I'm following the same team. Like, it's the same team in a different city now. I feel like that's fair. That's an exception.
And before Zach moves to Winnipeg next year.
He's going to.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. You a Canadian? Fuck.
Let's wrap up.
Wait to go to some hockey games.
That is insulting to our fellow Canadians.
Our Canadian friends.
That was prejudice.
No, I know where Zach's going. Don't worry about it.
Mother Russia.
Always got something for us. All right, let's end with Zach's track of the week, and we'll wrap it up. So, Zach, take it away.
Track of the week this week is "Deep Inside" by Matt Zoe. The combination of
Deep Inside.
Matt Zoe. It's called Deep Inside, and we played it about 50,000 times.
Yeah, I was trying
to. The podcast started, so it was one of my favorite songs, and I now hate it, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Nice combination of deep house and pop house. So.
I attempted to get a clip together to play on the podcast for increased production value. By the time you hear this, you would have already heard it because I put it in the edit. So look at that. But
so check the CPN Twitter for that song. If you like house music, if you like the Boots and Cats, you already know what to do.
Boots and Cats.
Like the Boots and Cats. I love Boots and Cats and Boots and Cats. I love it.
All right, so that is all for us today. Like we mentioned before, we are all good now for scheduling, so I'm looking forward to the summer. And I will say too, I think the summer is kind of dead in terms of like after like the NBA and NHL finals, it's going to be basically baseball and that's it, which is fine. But you know, just look for some shows where we maybe do some interesting stuff. We've been talking about eventually doing a trivia show, and I definitely want to do that.
We definitely gotta do that.
And we'll figure out some other stuff. So it might not be the same exact stuff, but I'm excited for that because it lets us branch out. But that is all for us. If you'd like to contact us, you can reach us on Twitter at Come Play Network. Brendy is always there, giving just the best
Running
tweets,
the show.
The hottest of takes.
the
Yeah.
hottest of takes.
That's why I'm here.
Absolute
The hottest with a capital.
piping hot takes.
But that is all for us. We will see you next week for episode
Potentially.
26. Okay, no, we'll be here. We'll be here for sure.
We'll be here. Forget it. Peace.
Yeah. So yeah, as like I said, episode 25 next. Episode 26. Excuse me, next week.
25.
But until then, we will see you then.
Peace.